7th of December, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos. Okay.
Hashvisha Yitzfara Etzla Kieshukola Chavios Shabaolam Hazeh, the seventh tenet.
Prerequisite, right? The seventh prerequisite, right?
Okay. Did I talk about for all of everything living in this world, Me'etzem Umikra Gavul Yodea.
Right. Everything called Havayas Shabon, everything that exists in the universe, all of existence in this world, in essence, and specifically, they have a gvul yidua. It's a known limitation. They have a known limitation. Kadosh Baruch Hu has placed everything that's been created with certain limitations, which are known to Kadosh Baruch Hu.
Okay. Avlo Yosef lo yigra al masha gozer habore yisala be kamoso be ikaso vizmano umakomo, and you can't add or detract on what Hashem decreed as far as its appearance and its powers and its length and its time and its place.
Right.
Ella Shalakola Gazeros Hakodmos Bisfas Habore Sibos Vilasibos Sibos. But all of the rules, the early rules came from the mouth of Hashem. Sibos
are causes, right? And
causes.
And like in secondary causes, like Shekola Gezeres Hakodmos Bisfas Haboire Sevivus Sevivus, all the like pre-existing decrees are established by the word, literally the lips, so to speak, of Kadosh Baruch Hu, that they have causes, primary causes, and secondary causes.
Okay. Risha Enu Mavin in your
I think he froze.
Okay, well.
Mechavivos Shinua Inyanim Vaha he's Habchusam meaning al Inyan Adkan Lashon. So he doesn't understand, I guess, the rules of the world, the details of the world. He thinks that every new cause, will change.
Right. Yachshov, he thinks. I mean, a person who doesn't really understand the workings of the world, Yachshov, he will think he has siba hamiskadeshes mechayebes shinui ha'inyanim. He thinks that the cause, let's say the hasiba miskadeshes, that the invented cause is what obligates the change in the things, right? He thinks that the cause, which is apparently a new cause, he thinks the cause is what's obligating the changes to occur. This hafchosan me'inyan elinin, and it switches from one inyan to a next, meaning. Let's say take atomic energy, right? So person who just looks at the surface of the world, he thinks that, well, they were able to create a certain nuclear reactor, right? And through that, they were able to therefore tap the energy of the atom, right? So it's not that. That's nothing. The fact that we were given the intelligence by Kadosh Baruch Hu to come up with the technology necessary to tap the atom, right? That's what is called the Siba. That's just the cause that Kadosh Baruch Hu is choosing, right? But there's and it's not that the invention of all those technologies is what's causing that power to exist. That power to exist really was existing all the time. It's just that Kadosh Baruch Hu didn't bring it into reality until he gave human beings the technology and the knowledge to do that.
Okay, I mean, I read this paragraph and I'm not quite sure what his point is.
Okay, so the point is, meaning again, this is the seventh of several prerequisites that a person must have to have a true and a perfect and a clear faith in the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, so basically he's telling us that a person can't be misled by the way the world works. The way the world works is from a superficial level of cause and effect, right? But a person has to realize that the causes which we see, which have the effects, those causes are decrees based on the Kadosh Baruch Hu's decisions, and it's this decision of the Kadosh Baruch Hu is the ultimate cause of anything that's happening in this world. Not that the cause which you see. The cause which you see is not the catalyst for these things to occur. Kadosh Baruch Hu was the catalyst for these things to work. Is that okay?
I think so.
Okay.
It is a little.
I told you this is advanced. This is very advanced. It's not the they don't teach these things in the cheder for the kid. I mean, they should, but I don't know if they do. Anyway, we'll see. They'll get. Rav Hetzkel is going to be. He's going to explain a bit. We'll see. We'll hopefully get a little bit more clarity.
Okay.
And we're learning this because we want to understand why. This is like a subtle question which has been in the background the last 2 weeks. We've been learning about the 10 things that were created by Shmoshes, meaning what was the necessity of having these things, 10 things, and a few extra plus. Why were the necessity of having these things created during Ben Shmoshes? Just let HaKadosh Baruch Hu create them whenever he wanted to, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu has that ability, right? So this is going to help to help us understand the necessity of having the 10 things created during Ben Shmoshes.
Okay. Sham Behemshach Hadavarim Vizel Lashon. He also writes over there in the middle of, I guess, in describing these things, this is his language. Hahakdama Hakamishis, the introduction to the fifth prerequisite, she's Boris, so that I will explain near it. Ki Hashlemos Hadvarim Mischadishim Olam, that the completeness of new things in the world, Bolam Hazeh, new things in this world, La'achar Yitzira, after the creation, he b'shnei dvarim. There are two details.
Right, two aspects. Let's say two aspects.
Echad mehem gezeras habore yisale v'yifchatzu b'yitziasam al gvul hachova.
Right, they mean the gvul of its existence.
Right? Okay, so one of them is a decree from HaKadosh Baruch Hu to reveal and establish this object with its borders,
Right.
Sheni sibus motzian v'chulu.
Like it's like it's parameters. It's parameters like in space, time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second one is the causes of its being found, and it's being found.
Masheni sibus ha-motziim, like the sibus causes which are sibus are causes, and motziim are things which cause it to come to fore. Motziim, from the word to take out, motziim, to bring it to reality. There's something which is a cause. There's something which causes it to be formed in existence.
I think what
Actually,
you're saying.
that's with an ayin. Excuse me, that's with an ayin. Umotziim.
You're saying the two things are what will be discovered and how it will be discovered.
And I mean, it's going to be what's going to be discovered. Number one, right, and number two, like the reasons for its being in existence. The sibos, the causes, what's causing it to exist.
Okay. V'chein shar hamasim hayotzim al gvul hakaya, and similarly all things that come out from the limits or the borders of this object, lo yiskavtsu mina adam, are not held back from a person.
They're not all kosher amaisim, all other processes. Let's put it like this: all other processes which are brought forth to the gevul, the real world, the gevul, the world of existence, right? Lo yiskavtsu min olam. These things are not brought forth through the actions of people, through people. There's nothing that people are causing here.
Also, ki'im gezeres elokim v'az hizman noso v'asivos asher bahem hayigmoron.
Zulas meaning they're only ki'im. They're only except gezeres elokim. They're decrees from a Kadosh Baruch Hu. As manasoi hasibos Hashem hagoimrim, and their preparation and their causes and the preparation of the causes which are those things which bring them to hagoimrim, which bring them to completion. Right.
So what he's saying is that you shouldn't think that anything that gets created was, uniquely from man. It was all created by Kadosh Baruch Hu, and he just chose at certain times and places to have it revealed through the actions of man.
That's right. I mean, there's nothing new. Take atomic energy. There's nothing new there. There was no new. They're just taking the basic elements of the that exist in the universe and doing certain things to them, right? So what you do to those certain things are the based on the thoughts of man, which really are directed by Kadosh Baruch Hu also, and the tapping of nuclear energy is really nothing greater in essence than making fire. To make fire, all you have something which has a kindling, which is able to be kindled, and you have to have some type of a way of heating it up sufficiently, causing a spark to kindle it, right? So everything there, right, that's what we mentioned yesterday, that on Motzei Shabbos, in commemoration of Adam Rishon's discovery of fire, that's why we make the bracha, Maria Eish, on Havdalah, only on Motzei Shabbos, because that's when Kadosh Baruch Hu gave Adam the insight and the wisdom to be able to strike two stones together and realize that a spark comes out, and then realize from that if he puts that spark next to something flammable, it'll ignite. So that's why you can make Havdalah right up until Yom Shlishi, right? The person didn't have wine, he didn't have anything to make Havdalah on, so he can make Havdalah up until Yom Shlishi, but he could only make the bracha Bri Eish on Motzei Shabbos, because it's specifically Motzei Shabbos commemoration of the wisdom that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to Adam Rishon to discover fire. But all he did was take two stones which were pre-existing, and he took some, let's say, for example, he took some dried leaves, which were already pre-existing, and he happened just to get the idea that he strikes this stones together with the other stone enough times and makes it spark. One of those sparks will catch, and if that catches, he's got himself a little fire, right? But everything else was there pre-existing by the gezeres of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem just gave him that insight to do it. So nuclear energy, for the same token, is basically the same process. Might be a little bit more advanced, a little more complicated, right? But it's basically the same as it was being taught now. It's basically the same thing, that all these things are causes which have been already preordained and determined and decreed by Kadosh Baruch Hu. Okay.
Okay. Hadavorim Meforshim She'enam Yochel.
Hameforshim.
The explicit things that a person cannot make in this world.
No, Hadavarim Meforshim. The things are explicit. These things are explicit. She'ein Adam Yochel Asos Muma, that a person is not able to do anything. Meaning if the person has no power to bring something into this world.
Hakol Gezeros Habore, it's all a decree of Hashem. Gezeros Habore ba al Yudei Sibas, but the Gezerah, the ruling comes to you through causes, and therefore Yesh Makom L'Taos Veliros Rak Es Hasibas Ha'achrona, and therefore we have the ability to make a mistake, or there's a time to make a mistake, and see that only the last cause, the proximate cause of the object, ulechas law et hamaisa, his alem mikol hashtallish hashil hashikal.
Histalshus hasibus. The chain reaction of causes, right? The chain reaction of causes.
Right, so you only see the last one and assume that was the actual cause. We don't understand or realize all of the other steps that came along in the process to fulfill the will of Hashem.
Right. So for going back to the classic example, so Adam Rishon on Motzei Shabbos, he took two stones, flint stones. He struck one stone against the next, right? So we think, look, Adam makes fire, right? That's they had the New York Times back there in Gan Eden, or out just outside of Gan Eden, say, Adam discovers fire. Adam makes fire, right? That's what it would say in the newspaper, right? That's not true, right? Adam didn't have anything to do with it. Everything was already preordained long before Adam even thought of such an idea, right? Because the two stones, you can't just strike any stone. You take granite and strike it against quartz. So you can get sparks? No, right? You have to take the Flintstones and do the Flintstones and strike them against each other, and you get your spark. Electromagnetic energy, right? To take you have to have some type of a magnet, right? You didn't make the iron ore magnetized, right? That was something was preordained and already preset. Atomic energy, uranium. Man discovers atomic energy. No, that's not true. That's just the very last thing, the very last step on the rung of all the causes that Kadosh Baruch Hu decreed from the time that the universe was created, right? A man's coming in and with his little mind, and which wouldn't work at all if Hashem didn't decree that it should think, and if Hashem didn't allow him to think properly and to execute all the things he wanted to do, he wouldn't be able to do anything. He's the last step in the chain. He didn't put uranium and the radioactivity into uranium. Who put the radioactivity into uranium? Kadosh Baruch Hu put it there, right? That's the cause of atomic energy. The fact that there's radioactivity, and so Hashem gave them, human beings, the ability to tap that through their insights, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu provided for them, right? But they were the very last link in the chain of all the causes that Hashem wanted and decreed to happen. Okay, that's clear. That's good.
Okay, so far.
Okay, good.
Le'emuna hamiti, believe v'chai lepia, and somebody who's worthy, who brings true faith in his heart and
this is an expression I'm not sure. L'chai lepen, I think, meaning he's privileged to true faith in his heart, and like in his chai, his life to his mouth, and that's I think it's sort of like body and soul. I'm not exactly sure what the phrase means. Chai lepen. Not sure. Chai lepen. Yeah.
Hu roa acheret es ha-mitziasos mevin es kol ha-machalach ha-devarim roi es ha-ratzon Hashem hamania sibos l'sibos ad sheitzias l'poal ve'eno Meiches es
miyachis from the word yichus, right? You know, if a mishpach has a yichus, right? Miyachis.
Okay. So anyway, this person, he looks differently at these things that are discovered.
The reality. He looks at it differently. He looks at the reality in a different way.
He understands that everything that he sees is from the will of Hashem, and the secondary causes, until it was actually found and discovered. It's not dependent on. It is not on this last cause alone. It's on everything that came up before it.
Right. Meaning he sees the the original. He tries to see the original causes of things. Now he doesn't look at the fact that there's a nuclear reactor there in 7 Mile Island, we're in Pennsylvania. There, he doesn't look at that as the source of the atomic energy. Right. He looks at the first. Oh, there's uranium, and there's the radioactivity there in uranium, and that's how did it get there? That got there from a Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? Hashem put that radioactivity into uranium, right? And so he looks at the various different things, and he sees and he tries to see the ultimate causes of it, not the last rung of the chain of cause and effect, because ultimately you attribute it to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. If you just look at the last rung in the chain reaction of cause and effect, you'll attribute it to the wrong causes. That's the only That's simply the last cause on the chain reaction.
With Isa b'medrash kishehodu benos Yisro l'Moshe al hatzilaso otam yad haroim, and it's what we see in the medrash when the daughters of Yisro returned. When the daughters of Yisro thanked Moshe for the help he gave them with the shepherds of Midian.
Right, they were going to be the daughters of Israel were going to be molested or something like that with the shepherds of Midian, right? And Moshe Rabbeinu came along and saved them, right?
Amar lehen Moshe oso mitzri shaharagti hu hitzil eschen. This they said about Moshe, this Mitri who killed, who he was the one who saved.
Moshe said to them, they the daughters of Moshe, they thanked Moshe for saving them, right?
Right.
So Moshe said, he said, you know who you have to thank? You have to thank that Egyptian that I killed. He was the one who saved you. Why? Because why? Because
Olam Moshe Akev Achre Hasibos Lora the fun of Siba Harakon. Because Moshe, the ultimate cause of Moshe coming to Midian was the fact that he had killed the Egyptian. If you hadn't killed the Egyptian, to Midian. So don't thank me for Moshe telling you, thank me for saving you. Thank the Egyptian that caused me to come down to you. You have to look back, and he's willing to tell you that you don't look at the proximate cause, but you go back and look at original causes.
That's right. That's right. Like if you've seen these domino setups, that the guy spends 6 months building this domino setup, and it's half the size of a football field with dominoes, right? It's all one's going to do this to that and everything like that. And then finally at the end, it kicks a ball and the ball falls down and it hits a seesaw. It's got a pot of pennies on it, and it pops on the seesaw, and the pot of money goes flying up, and all the pennies go flying all over, right? So you say, the ball that fell on the seesaw, that's what caused the pennies to fly out. So no, and then you say, no, maybe it was the domino that hit the last domino that hit the thing that fell onto the seesaw, the ball that fell on the seesaw. No, you go all the way back, and then someone way back there, right, half a football field away, tipped over the first domino, right? So that's the whole idea. You have to go all the way back. You have to look at the world in a different way and try and understand, right, what the ultimate causes of the things that are happening in this world are. And it takes a lot of work to try and think this way, right? Because we're used to believing what our eyes see to be the most superficial things are the most apparent. Obviously, they're the superficial things. The unknown things, the things that Manos Yisro had no idea that Moshe Rabbeinu killed the Mitzri, and according to the Medrash, I think it was like 40 years ago. It's 40 years ago because he didn't go originally to Midian. He became a king in another Medina somewhere for, I think it was 40 years. So they had no idea. They just saw that Moshe Rabbeinu came and saved them. So obviously they would thank Moshe Rabbeinu. But Moshe Rabbeinu knew the truth. He had no business in wanting to be in Midian. The only reason when he was in Midian, because he was still fleeing from Paro, because he was reported on by Dasan Abiram that he killed the Mitzri. So he said, that's the one that you have to thank. That was the original cause, let's say. Okay.
Continue?
Yeah.
Okay. Chazal Megalim Lanu, the Chazal revealed to us the Bahadgasha Amashal from this the meanings of this mashal kikach tzarich lios hamavet al chayim.
Right. Right. So, kikach tzorach lios hamabit al chayim v'lo litlos besibas achrona bilvad. The person has to hamabit is to view, right? To view al chayim. He has to view things with life and not
Depend on the last clause.
right, not to attribute it to the last cause bilvad, meaning the last cause definitely there was obviously the last cause was the last link in the chain, right? So it's definitely part of the series of events that lead up to the cause and effect would happen, right? But he has to look at it with a certain life to it. Don't look at just at it statically as this is the last simple cause, and he has to look at the original causes above and beyond, and don't attribute it to simply the last cause in the chain.
El hakif et kol hasibos liros lahakir sheha arod gam kain tofes chelik behat galos rotzon Hashem lahatzil es hatinok ha'adam roa masha lefonov ha'ayin mata'a et ha'adam. It's going on. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's go back.
It's slow.
Okay. He has to gather in all of the causes to see and to recognize that they're all part of the revelation of the will of Hashem, to save a child.
Yeah, lahatzil es hatinuk ha'adam roya mash lefonov ayin mata es adam. Okay, 1 second. So it says Ella hakif kolasibus laros. He has to include all the causes to see lahakir and to recognize shal oider gam kein toifes chelik bis galos rotzon Hashem. He has to take into consideration all the causes in order to see and to recognize that the oider that gam kein toifes chelik bis galos rotzon Hashem. I think this is like he's going to a specific case here. That even the last, he has to understand, even the very last thing which occurs is also plays a part in revealing the Ratzon of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? La hatzil es hatino ka'odam, right? To the hatino ka'odam, the hatzil, to meaning you have to save yourself from the tina ka'odam, from the childish viewpoint, right? Shatika Olam Roya, the child is a viewpoint of only seeing Mashalafonav Ha'ayin, only to see that which is superficially in front of you. Meaning that you have to take into consideration that there are many. This is something which is it's a meta thought. It's like it's a background program which you have to have in your minds, that everything which is occurring, you can't be tricked into the childish outlook that the last thing, the most superficial thing you see is the true and ultimate cause of what's happening, right? It's true that the last and most superficial thing which is occurring and what you see is definitely part of revealing the Ratzon of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's definitely part of the Ratzon of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that last cause that affected whatever Hashem wanted eventually to affect. But it's a childish attitude to remain with that perspective and to attribute the whole cause of everything that happened based on that one last superficial thing which you happen to see empirically. Okay, I told you tonight. I told you this is not easy.
Not at all.
Is it okay? Is it going okay, Mayor? It's okay.
Yeah. I'm picking up on it. Thank you.
Okay. Lou, this is okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, good. Okay, very good. That's what I think. That's what I think it means. It says Ella the hakif kolasibus laros lahakir sha'oider gam kein toifus chelik bezgalas rotz Hashem, that a person has to take in consideration all the causes in order to see and to recognize that even the last thing which occurs also plays a part in revealing the Ratzon of Kadosh Baruch Hu. But at the same time, by bearing in mind all the causes that were there previously, that will save a person from the childless outlook of only seeing what's there in front of his eyes. Mata esa adam, that will trick a person, right? That will trick a person if he's always going to look what he sees with his eyes.
Mates Adam Ulam Kisha Amik Lahas Stakel Vitofa Oz Chayev Yakir,
good, Yakir.
Viyada ki ma yisron haose kasher hu
Okay, let's leave the quote for a minute. Let's say, because if he's only going to look superficially, Mata es Adam, that what he sees superficially is only going to trick a person, right? Now, Ulam, however, Kishiamik, when a person's going to delve and to examine carefully the events of his life, right? The events of his life, Tofos Hayav, the events of his life, Yakir, he'll recognize V'yodeh and know, key, quote, okay.
Yaki ma yitron haose kasher hu amal.
Unquote. So that's a quote. I'm not sure. A quote maybe from Mishlei. I'm not sure. Ma yisron ha'oise b'asher hu amal. What is the benefit? What is the gain of the person who does this in what he's putting forth efforts? Meaning, what's the benefit in what the person does to with his efforts? What's the benefit of what a person's doing with his efforts? Meaning, really, his efforts, right? His efforts are really the very last step in the Ratzon of the Kadosh Baruch Hu that's what's supposed to take place. Okay.
Shari l'chol zman ve'es l'chol chayfetz tachas Hashemes. For all time, for all times, for every object that's under the sun, v'chulu, kol davar kavua lizmano. Every object has a fixed time, v'tafkidu, and a purpose. Hashkachas habore, according to the intentions or thoughts of Hashem. Ein adam yachal l'shanos mizeh, and a man can't change this. Afilu kamale nima, even the width of a thread. Lo moelis moelia, doesn't help. Kol hamakshava atzmis, any independent thought he has. Rabos makshavos believe ish. The Atse Hashem he takun. Many thoughts are in the heart of a man, but he wants to do he will fulfill the desires of Hashem.
Right, right. Rabos makshavos believe ish. There are many thoughts in the heart of a person. The Atze Hashem he takum, and the plans of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, they will exist. Meaning, people have many different ideas, right? We have lots of ideas, but what's going to exist, takum, what's going to be established what will be established are the plans of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Kadosh Baruch Hu's plans are gonna be what's in existence, not necessarily what we think in our hearts. Okay, good. That's very good. Okay, we got that brings us to our time. Okay, we'll finish this tomorrow. We'll try and finish this tomorrow. Bez Hashem.
All right, very good. Have a good.
Okay, thank you,
Oh, yeah,
Eliezer
Lauren.
Tzvi. Okay, we'll take a short break and we'll be learning.